Greetings, juggalos and juggalettes. It's your wicked homie here, Obi-Wan the Nomi, and you're tuning in to CarnivalSpirits Juggalo Jedi Council. In this exciting edition, we'll be discussing 15 years of Shangri-La.
Years ago, ICP drops the WRAITH Shangri-La. I was 16 years old at the time, just about to turn 17. I was on the verge of dropping out of high school and, dealing with my mom being sick and all that shit.
15th anniversary, the WRAITH. I remember when this album dropped, I was looking so forward to it. And I remember the hype online, and ICP even did a commercial for it. And they paid, and it got on MTV. And it was so cool because they were both dressed up as angels. And I remember that commercial, and that just hyped it up even more for me. And then when I listened to the album, I loved it. And when the Diane Veiling came on, I knew deep in my heart what it was already about because I've been listening to the other 5 albums. I've been listening to their other albums, so it was no surprise to me when they revealed what they were really up to all these years. That the Carnival was God. I already knew it. Happy birthday, the WRAITH.
15 years ago, the WRAITH Shangri-La dropped on November 5th, 2002. Me and my wife had each got a copy of it. We got our Discmans out, and we each put headphones on and listened to the album front to back. That's the way Jay wanted people to listen to it, so that's, and that's the way I like to listen to albums anyway. But Shangri-La is like classic feel-good album. Still relevant to today's day and age, you know what I'm saying? I don't think they could have done it any better. And with all the artists that were featured on there, like Twisted, Zug Island, ABK, Esham, it was on fleek. Those were good days, man. Shangri-La days.
So the WRAITH Shangri-La, the almighty 6 Jokers card, is 15 years old. I was 12 years old when this album was released. I picked it up. I don't know if it was already out or if it had just dropped, but I have very fond memories of this fucking album. Probably my top 3 ICP albums, actually. I know a lot of people don't really feel the message of it at the end, and a lot of people fell off during this era, but I think sonically it's one of the dopest projects ICP's ever dropped, in my personal opinion. I remember walking home from school, from detention, like every other fucking day, just bumping this fucking album. It's the shit. It's the almighty 6 Jokers cards, But yeah, happy birthday to the WRAITH Shangri-La.
15 years ago, on November 5th, 2002, ICP dropped the almighty 6 Jokers card, that being the WRAITH with the exhibit of Shangri-La. All I can say, just so many memories with this album. I was 12 years old. I remember bumping this a lot. This was the album that people were waiting for, Definitely one of my favorite ICP albums. A lot of people did fall off with this album because of the whole message, but even though the message was revealed, I've still enjoyed ICP even to this day. There's just so much good tracks on here. A lot of me and my homies would just bump this from beginning to end. Love this album, of course. It was done by Mike P, so yeah. Happy 15-year anniversary to the WRAITH with the exhibit of Shangri-La. Dope album back then, and still dope even to this day.
15 years ago, ICP dropped the almighty 6 Jokers card, the Wraith of Shangri-La. Now, reflecting back 15 years ago, holy shit, that was literally half a lifetime ago for me. I was literally 15 when that shit dropped. And, you know, that was a very troublesome time in my life. And that card really helped me through a lot. That album, so fucking fresh. And I definitely would not be the motherfucker I am today if it wasn't for the almighty 6 Jokers card.
15 years ago today, the WRAITH Shangri-La came out. I was 25. We were stopping to Best Buy on my way to work, picking up a copy, and then I found out later in the day that there were 2 copies, 2 different DVDs, so I actually ended up being able to stop and get another one on my way home from work. So I ended up with both copies by the end of the day. Musically, I think it's a great album, even though it wasn't Mike Clark. It's still one of my favorite albums by ICP to this day. I got a couple shirts of it that I still wear, despite the message about God at the end and me being an atheist. It didn't bother me at all. I was already pretty much aware that they were into a religious message of some kind, so that wasn't news to me. It wasn't shocking. But I love the album. I love all the tracks on it. I listened to it beginning to end. Like I said, even without Mike Clark, I think it's a great sound. It's a great addition to their catalog, and to this day, it remains one of my favorite ICP albums.
The WRAITH Shangri-La, released 15 years ago today. Now, I didn't get to hear it till the spring of 2003, but by this time, I was already a huge fan of the Insane Clown Posse. And listening to that I Am Feeling, and hearing Violent J speaking of the magical power of the feeling you get when bumping their shit, I was already feeling a really strong connection to it. And the WRAITH Shangri-La really just took everything I had already felt, the love I had already had for ICP, and locked it in tight. I was lucky enough to hear all of the 6 Joker cards within the 12-month period of listening to ICP myself. And it will forever be a great album in my eyes, in my heart, and in my mind.
The WRAITH Shangri-La is 15 years old. And I remember them building it up to be something like it was going to be the end of all things to come. And I had believed that I got into ICP too late and they were going to be finished with music. Once I heard the song, I heard the message, I was kind of an edgelord 666 kind of shit. I was growing up, I was lost, man. But all in all, I loved the message. One of my favorite songs is Crossing Thy Bridge. I like the beat of it. The whole song's fucking dope. And, you know, I had got into ICP after Jackal Brothers, somewhere around there. So it was the first time that I had got to be a ninja or a juggalo, whatever, and see ICP on Fuse TV and got to watch, well, When They Got Along, the Homies video with ICP and Twisted. That was fucking fresh. There is nothing fresher than growing up as a juggalo during the original 6.
The day before its release, the WRAITH had a CD release party in 3 different cities. The one in Boston was hosted by ICP, and it took place on my 24th birthday. I got a copy of the album, brought it back to my buddy's house. We listened to it from beginning to end, didn't say a word, just soaked it in. And like I said in Dear Joe and Joey, hearing the unveiling straight up gave us goosebumps. And brother, I promise, you didn't trick us. It's justified. 10 years and 1 song. Inside, I know I knew it all along. In this complex matrix of technology, I don't need my Joker's card spelled out for me. It's time we told you how great you are. Our carnival unity always top priority. Hell yeah.